Welcome to Betting Weekly WTA, the women's tennis betting podcast, brought to you in association with Bet Rivers. Before we get started, make sure to like and subscribe to us on YouTube and your favourite podcast provider. And tell us what you think in the comments. And don't forget to follow us on social media. The handle is at Because We Win. And subscribe to the Betting Weekly newsletter with picks on various sports from all our handicappers. Our Wimbledon special Betting Weekly Insider newsletter is out now with all our picks for the tournament. I'm Rory Jiwani. With me is Nigel Seeley. We are looking ahead to the biggest tournament in tennis. Wimbledon fortnight is almost upon us. We had the draw this morning, and some of the big names might not have been too pleased with it. Nigel, we've had a few hours to take stock. What are your conclusions from the draw?
Good afternoon to Rory. Yes, looking forward to this. This is a great 2 weeks of tennis, and the content on the channel is going to be insane. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. Lots of you joining us, and you know we've got that target of 10,000. So hopefully you can join us along for the next fortnight. Cash some tickets. We started our journey with the draw live show. We're going to go all the way through to the final ball hit in anger in the final in a couple of weeks' time. Well, my conclusion was when I was looking at the draw live with you, I thought to myself, well, you know, there was a draw advantage in the top half and the bottom half, you know, when it was being opened up. But I don't think there is, when I've sat back and looked at the draw, I don't think there is much of a huge advantage between the top half and the bottom half of the draw. But what there is a distinct advantage is in quarters. You know, it's a strange draw really, because Q1 is very, very difficult. And Q4 is very difficult, and Q2 and Q3 are obviously the most favourable parts of the position to be in the draw. So, you know, when the draw was coming out, I first presumed, well, this Q1 was impossible, and, you know, the top half is going to be easy, but Q2 levelled that up. And then when Q4 come out, I thought this is tough, and then Q3 levelled that out as well. So my reaction in the few hours since then was that actually there isn't really much of an advantage in terms of what side of the draw you want to be in, but there definitely is an advantage to what quarter you're in. And the players with the best advantage on this draw are in Q2 and Q3. You don't want to be in Q4. 3 of the top 4 in the betting, as I was pointing out in the live show, are in Q4. Sabalenka's in Q1. Vondrousova, the informed player in the world coming in to this tournament on a grass court, you know, former Wimbledon champion, is in Q1. You've got, you know, Madison Keys, Australian Open winner in Q1. So Q2 and Q3 are definitely the more favourable parts of the draw if you're looking at futures and you're looking at angles where we can get big prices through to a semi-final or a final.
Yeah, that's pretty much spot on. I think that's pretty much how I saw it as well with the draw. Definitely Q1 and Q4 tougher than the other two. Well, it is Wimbledon. It's grass, and it's fairly standard, the speed for that surface. The service hold percentage last year was 70.4, and almost identical last year to Bad Homburg and Nottingham. Although I should say, with the warm weather we're having across Europe, Bad Homburg this week has been off the scale quick. 77% service holds by my calculation, which is quicker than anything else on the calendar by some way. And it has been hot in Europe. It's been hot in the UK. Weather-wise, we've got hot and dry conditions expected for the first few days, but definitely a turn on sort of Thursday or Friday. So we might see the roof in operation on centre court and on number 1 court. Previous winners at Wimbledon, well, fair to say we've had a couple of shocks last 2 years. Barbara Krejcikova, the defending champion, she beat Jasmine Paolini in last year's final. Marketa Vondrousova, as you mentioned, Nigel, she won in 2023. She was unseeded when she defeated Ons Jabeur. And Jabeur was the runner-up again in 2022 when Jelena Rybakina took the title. In 2021, Ash Barty was the top seed when she beat Karolina Pliskova in the final. No 2020 event due to the pandemic. And in 2019, Simona Halep defeated Serena Williams in the final. So, Nigel, given what has happened in the last few years, and I suppose there is a little disclaimer, a little add-on in that obviously Sabalenka missed last year through injury, and the year before all players from Russia and Belarus were banned. I should say that was in 2022. Are there any trends we should be looking out for here? It seems like the last couple of years have busted all the trends.
Well, it has been a tournament that have shocked winners, as you said there. Women's finals have been usually gone to the underdog. If you look at the statistics through the years, the favourite in the finals, especially in recent years, has always got beaten. It's a tournament where it throws up some unknown results or strange results. The last 8 years, 8 new winners, which is insane when you consider the domination of other major championships. So it makes the favourite vulnerable here, and obviously we've got a favourite in the tournament in Sabalenka, who's never got past the semi-finalists. You said in 2022 she was injured. In 2020 she wasn't allowed to play, but she 2021 and 2022 the opponents that she played, 2023 sorry, the opponents that she played, she should have been able to beat those players and make at least a final. It's a tournament that I feel that Sabalenka is shocked with herself that she hasn't even got to a final. I think she's annoyed with herself that she hasn't won this tournament, because every part of her game is perfect for these conditions, for this surface. Her record this year has been pretty poor. She got to the final in the big tournaments. I mean, I know she's been the dominant number one. I don't mean that in a derogatory way to her, saying she's had a poor year. She's the number one by a long distance. But her defeat against Coco Gauff in the final of the French Open, her defeat in the semi-finals at the Australian Open as well, and wasn't, they're the ones that you're rated on in your year. So you can win a couple of thousand and a few 500s, but your Grand Slam form is what you really are rated on. And her performances in the Grand Slams haven't been up to her standards. I mean, she was very disappointing in both of those matches. Her interviews after were she was very disappointed with the way she performed. And I just look at her. I mean, she obviously, sorry, I said she got beaten in the semi-finals by Keith. She got beaten in the final by Keith in the Australian Open. But 2 finals, 2 defeats. Is that on her mind? Is that sort of thing, in a way of thinking here? She is the best player in the world. She has been the most consistent player in the world this year. But that comes with a price, and her draw has been very, very difficult. So I think if you're concentrating the top end of the market here, then I'm talking about the main 4 or 5 players in this market. I think that it might not be the best strategy. I think the value at Wimbledon is to go further down the list and look for players at bigger prices who have bigger opportunities to get through groups where their section is a little bit easier. Because I don't think these players on grass dominate like they do on clay, as we've seen in Świątek in the past and Coco Gauff this year. Hard court like Sabalenka has done in US Opens and Australian Opens. I think this is a very, very wide open tournament, and my strategy is to look for routes to the final where opportunities arrive for players at big prices.
Normally at this point I would say the quarter finalists if it all goes to seedings, but I think we're just going to go for the last 16 if the seeds get through. So in the top half, Sabalenka would play Elina Svitolina. Paula Badosa would meet Madison Keys. Jasmine Paolini would play Amanda Anisimova. And Deanna Schneider would face Qin Wenzheng. So that's the top half. In the bottom half, Mira Andreeva would play Emma Navarro. Karolina Mukova would play Jessica Pegula. Iga Swiatek against Yelena Rybakina. And Daria Kasatkina against Coco Gauff. And, there are some tough encounters even in the last 16. I mean, Swiatek Rybakina would be the standout if they both get there. If Sabalenka and Keys get through, they'd meet in the quarterfinals, a repeat of the Australian Open final. And again, those are Q1 and Q4, like we've said. The rest of them, I mean, who knows would get through those ones. And it's as you've said, it's kind of Q2 and Q3. There's a big opportunity there for someone.
Well, I mean, you talk about Sabalenka getting to the last 16 there. You've been very favourable to her. I mean, she's got to get past
Vondrousova
and Emma Raducanu potentially. Raducanu, Vondrousova, that kind of route for her. Those players await her in that section before she even gets to the last 16. Madison Keys is a player that both you and I liked before the draw. I'm not so happy with the draw. I've already bet her, so hopefully that she can do well here. Her game is suited by grass. She's a player that should have had a breakthrough at Wimbledon. Last year, I thought she was looking good to get to the final in that bizarre match against Paolini where she was 5-2 up and then she injured herself and had to retire. Points away from winning the match is so heartbreaking for her. She's going to be determined, but the draw hasn't been favourable to her. I mean, if you look at some of those draws, I mean, you're talking about Andreeva playing Navarro. You've got the Wimbledon champion in that section as well. You've got Kvitova, another former Wimbledon champion. That's in Q3. Q4, Świątek's got to get past Kostyuk. Towson's in that section as well. Samsonova, who is a real dangerous opponent on this surface, especially if it's playing quick. So it's you look at the draws here, but it's the route to that section that sort of makes whether or not these players are value for me. I mean, Sabalenka is the favourite. She's a short price favourite to win this. She's a short price favourite to win a quarter. But her hard work really starts from round 2 onwards. It's not like she can rest and get into the quarterfinals and think, okay, this is where my tournament starts here. She's got to be at it from the beginning because she's got some very, very tough opponents on the route here if she's going to go to that final. So I think this is really intriguing. Unlike many women's majors over the years, I've looked at players and thought, well, she's an absolute certainty to get to the quarterfinals. I don't think there is somebody here in this draw that you could look at and say, well, they're certain to make the quarterfinals. In the men's draw, you've got Sinner, you can look at Alcaraz and say, well, they're not going to make the quarterfinals. On the women's draw, I don't think you can have that confidence in any of these players with the draw they have. So it makes it a real interesting betting market. It's an interesting betting market in terms of the value. You haven't got like a minus 120 shot. You haven't got a plus 150 shot. You've got a favourite who is an attractive price now because of her draw. Whether the big hitters want to get involved with Sabalenka at the price on her draw, they might look and say the price is too big, too tempting me in. I'm not so sure. But we've got I think the women's draw this year in Wimbledon is much more interesting than the men's draw. I think if you're a serious bettor and you're looking for angles and you want players beat and you're involved in a proper tennis tournament, this is a proper tennis tournament. You've got a field here where you can make a case for 15 of these players to do well in it. And they've all got a realistic chance in a tournament that throws up winners. So, yes, I'm looking forward to it. I find it difficult to find out where we're going to go, but we've got some areas where I'm going to concentrate on and try to find some angles where we can attack, where we know we might be able to hold a ticket that's going to be half the price of ticket as the week progresses.
Let's have a look at some quarter odds. These are among my favourite markets for any slams. So it's the price for the player to win the quarter, i.e. the price for the player to reach the semi-finals. And if you look at Q1, and as you said, Sabalenka's got to be at it from the off. She's plus 150 for her quarter, which might look tempting to some, but even her first round isn't easy. Carson Brandstein beat Lyudmila Samsonova a couple of weeks ago. She defeated Bianca Andreescu and Lois Boisson, the French Open surprise package in Wimbledon qualifying. She's going to arrive to the tournament full of confidence, and she's got the number one in round one. So that might not be the easiest start for the world number one. Madison Keys, $3. Marketa Vondrausova, $7. Same price as Elina Svitolina. Paula Badosa and Emma Raducanu and Elise Mertens, $12. Donna Vekic at 14s. Anyone take your eye from that first quarter?
Well, I mean, Vondrousova will play Raducanu in round 2 if they both win their first matches. Obviously, Kessler's got a big say in that for Vondrousova, and G has a big say of that against Raducanu as well. So that's a tough second round, and then Sabalenka will likely be playing them in the third round. So that's a real difficult route. I like our girl Keys to get through to a showdown with Sabalenka. And then you've got to think to yourself, well, what price would she be to beat Sabalenka if they met? She's probably going to be a little bit bigger than 2-1. So if they met in the last 16 or the quarterfinals, wouldn't it be? The quarterfinals. If she met in the quarterfinals, Sabalenka against Keys, I think she'd probably be around about 2-1 shot,
Yeah.
And you're getting her at 3-1 and hoping that she can get past Fernandez, Badosa, Bolter, or Vekic. So that doesn't really inspire me much. I don't think there's really much value in this part of the draw. I think Badosa is injured. Reading between the lines, she's retired from a lot of matches. I think she's a fade. I think Katie Bolter could beat her in round 1. But I think we're going to get a showdown between the winner of Sabalenka and Vondrousova against Keys. That would be where I see this going. I think Vondrousova has got a good chance to beat Sabalenka. So if you're looking where there potentially could be some value, Vondrousova at 7 could be a lean for me. The only reason I like the Vondrousova at 7, because if she does beat Sabalenka, the market will have a real big rebase on Vondrousova, and then she could play Keys. And at this moment in time, you'd make Keys a marginal favourite against Vondrousova. But if she beats Sabalenka and continues the form that she's shown this week, then the market could really have a rebase, and she could potentially be a favourite against Keys in that quarterfinal. So if I was looking for some kind of angle, this is not an official play, but if I was forced to have a bet, I'd probably have a small interest on Vondrousova at 7.
Yeah, I'm backing Vondrousova for that first quarter. On the logic you say, I think she's the player that no one wants to face at the moment, given her what she did in Berlin last week. Which, it's funny because I backed Keys for the tournament and she beat Keys in the first round there. Because I wasn't sure about the Czech's fitness, because obviously she's struggled with injuries and off the court issues for the last couple of years since winning Wimbledon. And she didn't play that well against Keys, but she improved as the tournament went on. And, she's a lefty. She's won it before. I think $7 is big, especially when you consider that outright she's $13. So yeah. I think $7 for Vondrousova is big, and I'll be having a point on her to win that quarter. Nothing else really makes.
I mean, she's only 7 because of her draw. I mean, Kessler round 1, Raducanu round 2. Get past that, Sabalenka. I mean,
Sabalenka's
tough.
The big one.
But I mean, she's still going to be. I mean, she's still going to be not a heavy minus money favourite against them, but a sort of a favourable price, which is still a working man's price in terms she's going to be. So I can see it, but I like the idea of the rebase factor. Mm-hmm. If she beats Sabalenka, then she will be the favourite against Keys if they met. And that's the way of my thinking in this market. So, I mean, the same price as Svitolina. I mean, I know Svitolina's got an easier route to potentially a quarterfinal showdown, but the same price is a little bit disrespectful for Vondrousova, who's the former Wimbledon champion here. So I agree with you, Lean. I wouldn't be betting it, but if you're going to make it an official play, it's a cheer for me. So I'm going to just cheer along with you. But if I was offered a free bet with Bet Rivers, a free $10 bet, I'd have it on Vondrousova at 7.
So that's Q1. Q2, really interesting market this. Amanda Anisimova, the favourite at plus 370. Jasmine Paolini, plus 500. Deanna Schneider, same price. Qinwen Zheng, $6. Naomi Osaka, $7. Linda Noskova, plus 750. Ons Jabeur, 2-time runner-up, plus 850. Yelena Ostapenko, $10. I mean, this is plus 370. The field, this is wide open, isn't it, Nigel?
Yeah, obviously the seed to get through is the former Wimbledon finalist from last year, Jasmine Paolini. I mean, she's a big fade for me. I know we're probably going to disagree on this one because I know you were quite keen on her, but since we had the draw today, we watched her play Iga Swiatek, and Swiatek annihilated her really, 6-1, 6-3, and it was a poor performance from Paolini. You can turn around and say that you forgive them that performance before a major, but that was an alarming performance. Swiatek was so dominant, it was amazing, and her first grass court event in a tournament that Paolini probably should have had more of a chance. She was lucky against Haddad Maia in round 1. She was extremely lucky against Leylah Fernandez, 7-6, 7-6 in 2 very tight tie breaks. She was awful against Ons Jabeur in Berlin, 6-1, 6-3, and this is an Ons Jabeur that's nowhere near her levels. So Jasmine Paolini is a massive, massive negative for me. She'll play Noskova if they go through to the third round. She'll play Noskova. Noskova's in the middle of a battle against Jess Pegula as we stand now, and she's lost the second set, so it's 1 set all. But Linda Noskova is not someone I want to be betting on grass. Deanna Schneider, far, far, far too inconsistent. Can look a world beater, then can suddenly just the whole world could fall apart. The way she capitulated against Paolini in Rome was a serious, serious warning mark for me. Zheng, Olympic champion, as we said so many times, she's done well at Queen's Club, but that really turned a career of really bang average grass court form on its head. I wouldn't like to bet her. Ostapenko, I couldn't trust. I think she could be a first-round casualty. And just by the process of elimination, I said it when we done the draw show today, I like Anisimova here at plus 370. Again, I'm not going to have an official play because I was hoping that she'd be around about 450. I think 370 is a little bit too short for me, but I do think that she's the one who can come out this bracket and maybe even make the semi-finals. Her form this year on grass has been exceptional. Obviously, the final of Queen's Club. She watched that match again, and Tatjana Maria got into her head, and she just didn't know how to play it. The slice, the constant, the spin, the slow in the play. It absolutely got in Anisimova's head. If they played that match again, I think Anisimova would win it more times than she lost it. Got to the quarterfinals of Berlin, heavy defeat there, but she's ticking a lot of boxes on what you want in a Wimbledon sort of a runner for your money. Just doing well, moving up the rankings, playing well, confidence, final, quarterfinal. You don't want someone to burn out. You don't want people to burn out into finals. And she's doing a lot there. And I looked at the head-to-head. She's got a winning head-to-head record against Paolini. She's got a winning head-to-head record against Haddad Maia. She's never played Schneider. She's losing against Young, but on clay courts, you would expect that. And Noskova, she's only ever played once before. It was 1-0. So I'm afraid of Jasmine Paolini. And I think Amanda Anisimova could be the person that comes through this section. But I'm not going to make an official play because I would want $4.55 at plus 370. I think it's a little bit of a short price. Obviously, she's an American player. She's going to get a lot of support, hence the reason why she's plus 370. But again, if I was pushed and someone said to me, listen, my life depended on who's going to win Q2, I'd say Amanda Anisimova. But would I bet her at plus 370? Probably not.
No, I'm with you. I had a look and I just couldn't form a clear opinion about anyone in Q2. I just thought it was just too hard. So with that, we'll move on to Q3, where I do have a view, and I want to fade Andreeva here. Mira Andreeva at plus 210. Jessica Pegula plus 425, who we thought during the draw had the best of the draw, was treated very kindly in it. Same price for Yekaterina Alexandrova, that's plus 425. Emma Navarro plus 650. Jinyu Wang, $12 after she reached the final in Berlin last week. Same price as Veronika Kudermetova, who, interestingly enough, has been beaten the last 2 years by the eventual champion. So it was Vondrausova in 2023, and last year it was Krejcikova. She's $12. Karolina Mukova, 14s. Belinda Bencic, 16s. I think I've got a couple of very big prices for this, just, pizza money, as you'd call it. But Andreeva looks short, doesn't she?
Yeah, I'm not going to let you. I'll let you tell the pizza money because I think you're going to be on the same page as me on one of them who's not on that bracket. What I'm going to say, but I've got 2 bets on this quarter. One of them I think we're going to agree on, and the other one maybe is someone. I'm going to go for Jess Pegula at plus 425 to win this quarter. I mean, we highlighted about it at 33-1 when the draw came out. I thought her draw was very favourable. She's in the middle of a semi-final as we speak now, live against Noskova. She lost the first set against Noskova in a tie-break. She's fought back from a breakdown to win the second set, and it's going with serve in set number 3. Now, I wouldn't look too much into that, but that fighting quality that Jessica Pegula has is a bit of an inspiration for me. She's got more money than, she doesn't need it for the money. Her family are absolutely minted, as we know, as Navarro as well. But the fact that the week before Wimbledon, when she's given a chance to, with a favourable draw, she's really putting in a shift here to go on and win this title. And I think if she can beat Iga Swiatek in the final, if she can get to the final, hopefully, fingers crossed first she can get to the final. I think that she wants to prove that she can beat these players on grass to give her a huge motivation coming into Wimbledon. She's always been a player that's got the quarterfinals, semi-finals, and got beaten by the number 1 seed. She's got beaten by Swiatek. She's got beaten by Sabalenka. She's got beaten by Rybakina. Always a quarterfinalist, always a bridesmaid, never a bride. Final last year of the US Open. The fact is now, in a quick Wimbledon, she loves it fast. I think with this favourable draw, this is her opportunity. 2 Americans have won majors this year, Coco Gauff and Madison Keys. She's now got to step up to the plate, and I think this could be her time. Mira Andreeva, I just cannot have at all on a grass court. Her record on grass is abysmal. 12 matches, 7 wins, 5 losses. And 6 of them come in 2023 in 1 year. This year she's 1-2. Last year she didn't win a match on grass. Too much for her after a really disappointing French Open. She's in a transitional period of her career now. She wants to probably focus on the US Open. I don't think she really thinks she can win this tournament. She might go deep, but I think she's a massive favourite at 210. Ekaterina Alexandrova, how can you bet someone at plus 425 that couldn't convert 11 match points against Elise Mertens the last time she played? Navarro, I watched live at Queen's Club. If that girl was a semi-finalist at Wimbledon, I'd be absolutely shocked. Too many double faults. Karolina Mukova, not fit. Belinda Bencic, not fit. Wang had a good win. Veronika Zudametova, hopefully she gets beat by Pegula, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But I think Jessica Pegula at plus 425 is the best bet of all the quarters. And that's my first bet. 1 unit, Jessica Pegula to win Q3 at plus 425. I have another bet, but I think I'm going to stick. I think you will. I think the same player we're going to talk about. So I'd rather you.
I don't know. We are.
I think we are.
I think I know where you're going, but I'm not going with her.
Okay.
But my two are complete hunches. Are they two, or have I just got one? Be looking the wrong quarter. I've just got one, and it's a real hunch. Just because I've seen her game, and she has not produced good results on grass at all this season, which has been a bit of surprise.
Well, that's not the same one.
It's not the same one. I think I know who you're going for, though. As I said, I've just from watching her, and this is a complete bit of a shot in the dark. Hailey Baptiste, who made the last 16 at the French Open, and clay isn't her surface, but she made the last 16. She put up a good fight against Madison Keys in that. When I've seen her earlier this year, I thought she has a game suited to grass because she attacks, she comes into the net. It hasn't happened for her at all on grass this year. She lost to Laura Sigemund at Queen's Club, I think. No, it may well have been Hertogenbosch. And then last week, ahead of this week, she went out in qualifying to Alexandra Iala, who I think might be your pick, which doesn't look so bad now because Iala's reached the final at Eastbourne. So I'm thinking Baptiste, she's $40. It's half a point. It's a pizza money bet. But I think I've mentioned the player who you're interested in, who I am interested in as well, but I think I'll leave her to you. Yeah,
I'm going to have a half a point on Alexandra Iala. But going back to your point there, I mean, the Baptiste bet, it's not a bad bet really at 40-1 to win the quarter, because when she played Iala in qualifying here, she was the favourite. Yeah. Baptiste was the favourite to beat Iala, and now she's 40-1. But I think this girl's got an opportunity at Iala for many reasons. I mean, she burst on the scene, didn't she, in Miami, making the semi-finals, getting beaten by Pegula. She beat Świątek, beat Badosa, beat Keys, beat Ostapenko. Unbelievable. Then she went to Madrid, and she almost beat Świątek again in Madrid. But I felt that then everyone wanted to know all about her. She's only 20 years of age. She's from the Philippines. Everyone wanted to know about her. She's suddenly become a bit of a media sensation. She couldn't really handle the pressure, and she's come here under the radar. She's putting on some brilliant performance in Eastbourne, come through qualification. She's beaten Ostapenko again after recovering from losing a set 6-love. That's an amazing performance. She absolutely smashed Jastrzębska 6-1, 6-2. And she's through to the final now, where she plays joint. And I think she'll beat joint. I think she's minus 120. And I think she's got the beat in the joint. She's going to have a huge amount of confidence. In the first round, she's been drawn against Barbara Krejcikova. Now, I don't know much about any injuries, but I've got a feeling Krejcikova might not play. And if she does play, she's only going to play because she wants to, to play the first match at Wimbledon after the champion. And I don't think she's anywhere near fitness. She pulled out of the Eastbourne tournament yesterday with an injury. And suddenly, if Ilya can get a walkover there, or she can play at 60% Krejcikova, I think she's a great bet to beat Krejcikova on the money line, which we'll come on to in tomorrow's show. But I can't see Krejcikova being fit, and her form coming into it is of the form and the errors and the stats are of a player that isn't fit. So I think if Ilya can beat her, then it suddenly opens up a lot. It's not a quarter that is going to take much beating. And I'm going to have a half a point on her at 18-1 to win Q3. Semi-finalist in Miami. What's that? The sixth biggest tennis tournament on the calendar. She can beat everybody, and the fact that she's up against an opponent that is not 100%, who I believe may not even participate in the tournament. I think 18-1 is a big price. I'm going to have a half unit on Ilya at 18-1. So for me, one unit on Shespegula, 425, and 1 unit on Ilya at plus 18-1.
1 point or half a point on Nyala?
Half on what? Did I say point? So half. Yeah. I'm taking 1.5 points. 1.5 points.
Okay.
1.5.
There we go. Yeah, I can't see past that. And the only thing I would say about Eastbourne is has played a bit slow. It's been windy. It's been a bit miserable. So I think Wimbledon might be quicker, and that would be a slight concern. But yeah, Krejcikova. I mean,
confidence though, isn't it? I just think, I think she's only 20 years of age, and you saw when she went on a confidence run in Miami, she's done things that no one would have expected. And I think at 20 years of age, bit of confidence, you get to a final, may even win a grass court tournament before Wimbledon. You're going to come in, and I remember an unknown winning a grass court tournament from nowhere many years ago, and went on to win it. Boris Becker. I don't think that is going to be the case, but in a very favourable draw, she could give you a really good run for her money. And the market has got the price because she's playing the Wimbledon champion, defending champion in round 1. But that is a shadow of the player who won it last year, who is not fit and is not. I think she's 50-50 to participate.
Yeah, Krejcikova $18 for that quarter if you're interested. But
so that's saying that match might be a pick and match. If they're both 5-6, it could be a pick and match. Well,
could well be. So that's Q3. We've got 2 outsiders. Q4. Pick the bones out of this one. Jelena Rybakina and Coco Gauff plus 240. Swiatek $3. I can't remember the last time Swiatek was not the favourite to win her quarter. I really cannot remember a time when that happened. Big prices, the rest. Kostya $12. Sofia Kenin, Samsonova, Kazatkina $14. Maya Joint, who's going to be playing Ayala in that Eastbourne final tomorrow, she's $20. I mean, hard to look. I was going to say hard to look outside the top 3, but I think Samsonova's a big price, just compared to the players around her in the market. But I mean, who would you back out of the big 3 there? Rybakina, maybe?
I think on what we've seen in the build-up to Wimbledon, the player who's showing the best form is Swiatek. I think what she's doing this week is the best I've ever seen her play. I mean, she on a grass court, not ever seen her play on a grass court. But I mean, her performances this week have been absolutely amazing, sensational. First time she's ever got to a grass court final. She's made changes to her game under the new coach, and it might have been the plan was to get going for Wimbledon because she could go under the radar. She could, if she plays like what she's playing this week, she could be a danger for anybody. And again, if I was pushed to have a bet here, I would probably bet Swiatek. Rybakina, I mean, the market is very strong on Rybakina. She's second favourite to win the tournament on the outright. She's a player that has got an amazing serve and she's got ticks every box for a grass court player. But is she playing that well? I know she pushed Sabalenka pretty close the other day, but she didn't convert in multiple match points, which is a bit of a concern for me. But Swiatek looks like she's on a mission here. Gauff broke onto the scene when she played Venus Williams on court number 1 all those years ago as a teenager and beat Venus Williams. But since then, she's never really done it. And I think she's more suited now. Her game is more to slow courts. But from what I've seen, I think Swiatek would be the bet. Samsonova, I quite liked at the beginning of the week. I bet her earlier in the week as an outsider at 100-1. But last week's disappointment when she got to the semi-finals and got turned over by Wang was a real bitter disappointment for me because we were on at 50-1 each way. But I just got a feeling up against the bigger player, she make too many errors and too many double faults. When she's on it, she's great. When she's not on it, I think she's going to be found out. But I think from what we've seen, if you in the build-up, Swiatek at 3s could be the bet there.
Is that an official play or just
No.
a lean? Just a lean.
I don't think you can, unless you're going to talk me otherwise, I don't think you can have an official play in a quarter that's got Rebecca and Goff, Świątek. You know, the market is, it is pretty rock solid there. But no, I think free bet again, Świątek, but I'm not going to have an official play. Just going to have those two in Q3 for me.
Yeah, I mean, Samsonova would be a lean, as I say, just because she should be shorter than Kostyuk and Kenin and Kasatkina, and she's 14s. But against the big three in that market, I'm not sure she might beat one of them. She's not going to beat more than one of them. I mean, I think she's got a horrible record against Rybakina from memory. Goff, I think Goff's a fade in that quarter. And even first up, she's got Yastremska, and obviously we said Yastremska, she got well beaten by Ayala yesterday, but her form before that was pretty good. I mean, Yastremska's not a player to take on trust. She's from the Ostapenko school of consistency, but I think she could give Goff something to think about. But yeah, I just a lean for Samsonova. So that's Q4. Let's have a look at the outrights. It has changed a little bit since the draw, not a huge amount. Sabalenka plus 250, the favourite. Rybakina plus 550. Świątek $7, Goff $8, Vondrousova $13, Madison Keys 15s, Mirandreva 17s, Jasmine Paolini $27, Jessica Pegula $30, along with Qinwen Zheng, Amanda Anisimova $33, Elena Svitolina $40, $50 bar those. Are you thinking Pegula, Nigel?
I am, mate. Yeah. I've bet Madison Keys, and we've spoken about her throughout, you know, the build up to Wimbledon. We were on her at 20-1, but I think the draw that she's been handed is a bit of a tough one. I may bet her as the tournament progresses, but what we've got now, if we had a fresh bit of paper and you know we're looking at where we are stand now, Sabalenka to me at plus 250, I couldn't bet her. I mean, Vondrousova match is going to be a difficult match. Then Keys, I think they're two really, really tough matches before you even get to the semi-final. And I think both of those will cause Sabalenka huge problems. I really do. It wouldn't surprise me in the slightest to see Sabalenka go on and win it, because she's the best player in the world and she's got the game to win it. But at plus 250, I couldn't bet plus 250 Sabalenka. I'd much rather be a layer. So people, the American market is a layer. When you put bets on the UK, means we become the bookie. So I'd much rather people bet Sabalenka with me at plus 250 rather than me placing my money on her at plus 250. Rebecca and Świątek Goff, I mean, they're in a quarter that's only one of them's going to progress to the semi-final, so two of them are going to go out. You've seen the betting in that quarter, how hard it is to find the winner. So those three have got massive questions. Vondrousova's in the section with Sabalenka. Keys is in the section with Sabalenka. Andreeva, we said, to the favourite of the tournament. Paolini, we've said, to the favourite of the tournament. Zheng can't play on the surface. You've got the world number 3, who's now recovering as we speak now. Pegula lost the first set against Noskova. She was a breakdown in the second set. Noskova was serving for the match. She won the second set 7-5, and she's blitzing her 5-1. She'll play Świątek in the final in Bad Homburg tomorrow. If she wins that tournament, which I think that's a 50-50 call against Świątek on grass. If she wins that tournament, she will be a 20-1 shot overnight. The section of her draw is just, I mean, I think she's a semi-finalist. I like her at plus 425 to win it. I mean, I think Andreeva's the one you wanted to be in the section with, and it's a disrespectful price for the world number 3, who is getting better and better and better throughout each year, going closer and closer to winning the major. She got to the final of the US Open this year. I mean, it's a big price. I think 30-1 is a massive, massive price. Other than that, going down the list, nothing on that second column interests me at all. We've just made huge amounts of question marks. I'm happy with my Madison Keys play at 20-1. I hope she can get past Sabalenka and Vondrousova. But Pegula at 30-1 is where I'm going here. I mean, her record at Wimbledon is pretty good. Her record at grass is 31 wins out and 22 defeats, which is pretty steady. I mean, she's got to the quarterfinals of Wimbledon previously. She got beat by Vondrousova in the quarterfinals of the year. Vondrousova went on to win it. which was a close match.
Should have won it. I think Pegula should have won that match.
Should have won that. She could have gone on and won the tournament. But I think she's showing some great form this week. She got beat by Samsonova in Berlin. That was her only loss, but that was an incredibly tight match. 6-7, 7-5, 6-7. Samsonova is a player that we know can play. Again, her form coming in looks pretty good. A final today, and the way she's recovered in this final today gives me real positives about Pegula. So my only bet is 1 unit each way. Jessica Pegula 30-1 with Bet Rivers for Wimbledon. Could become the third American to win a major the third different American to win a wager at the 3 majors this year, headed into the US Open. Be amazing, but I think she's the value. I really do think she's the value. I think she should be probably
half that.
Yeah, half that. Same time the price of Miriam Draper. And I think if she wins tomorrow against Swiatek, then people will realise, hang on a minute, this girl's playing well. The market changed, but the market doesn't react to things that you think will happen. The market reacts to things they've just witnessed. Oh, look, Pegula's just beat Iga Swiatek. Well, look at her draw. It's really short. People will bet her, and she'll be in 16-1. But now is to preempt the market, and I think 30-1 is a big price.
It is, and she's got match point as we speak against Linda Noskova, so she could be going through to that final.
She was out to 16-1 in playing that match. Now,
wow.
Jessica Pegula, 16-1 in play a week before a major 2 years ago would have tanked that. She wouldn't have had any interest. But that shows to me she's motivated this week and she wants to put a good run and she wants to take it to the next level. And I think she's got a perfect opportunity here.
And I think she's got a great record against Swiatek in quicker conditions. I remember in, was it Brisbane, the United Cup one a couple of years back, might have been 2 or 3 years back, and I think she won 6-2, 6-2. And I remember Swiatek was in tears afterwards. You know, it was obviously the build up to the Australian Open. And when it comes to quick conditions, Pegula definitely, she's definitely superior to Swiatek. So I'd fancy her to win that if she gets through to the final. She's still got match point. But yeah, I agree with you. Pegula's the value. I can't really see anyone else. And as Pegula wins against Noskova 6-1 in the third. Yeah, the second column, no one appeals to me. I mean, you could make a Samsonova, but, you know, being in that quarter with Goff, with Swiatek, with Rybakina, you know, I just can't see her coming through it. And there are players at massive prices. I mean, I mentioned someone like Hailey Baptiste. She's $700, you know, which is too big. She's not going to win it. Iala is $250. That's a big price against someone who's clearly in form. Is she going to win it? I very much doubt it. But, you know, even looking down the list, there's no one, as you say, it's such an open tournament. There's no one you can really be that confident on. Even the market leaders. You can't be that confident about them, given their draws and given that it's on grass. You know, it really is a tournament where anything could happen. I think Pegula is definitely the value after that draw, and she's in form. So I'm gonna cheer on Pegula. I'm not gonna put any more on her. But
I thought we were gonna have a 2 point each, right?
No, I think 1 point
smashing
each way.
Our way out of trouble.
No, I think 1 point each way is fair enough. She's, you know, with the price, 1 point each way is plenty. That's a good result if she gets to the final. But you know, it's such an open tournament, and I can't wait for it to get started. And it will on Monday. So let's just quickly, we've gone on a bit, but let's quickly go through our bets. I think Q1, you didn't have anything for Q1, but you want.
I've got. You had the bet in
I had
Q1. I agree with
in
you.
Q1, so
Yep.
I had 1 point from Drusova at $7. You had Amanda Anisimova in Q2.
Yep. A lean again. Not
lean,
I think plus 370 is too short for me.
But you did like Jessica Pegula at plus 425 in Q3, where I had a half point. No, was it a half? Yes, and also you had a half point on Alexandra Iala in Q3.
18-1.
And I had Hailey Baptiste at $40, half a point. And in Q4, we didn't have a clue. So that was the quarters. And outright, Nigel flying the flag, Jessica Pegula a point each way at $30. Well, I mean, it's so wide open. I can't remember a tournament like it, Nigel. Honestly, I cannot remember a tournament where you have so much potential for an upset, and
I
where
think
the
the one
market
thing
leads are so shaky.
I think the one thing we've got to realise is that the top 6 of the betting, so the top 6 in this betting, 4 of those 6 can't make the semi-finals. It's impossible. So if 4 of those 6 can't make the semi-finals, with Q2 and Q3 have got to give us some value. I mean,
Yes.
So that is the general nuts and bolts of it. There's only 2 people of those 6 who can make the semi-finals, and they are taking up the huge majority of the market space. So we've got to look outside them, and Pegula is the girl for me, definitely. The more I've talked about it today, the more I bet. I had £50 each way after the draw at 33-1. I think I'm going to go in again at 33-1. I'm going to go at 30. The price is moving quickly. She's just won. I can just see the market moving. So you've got to get across the bet rivers now. Get on that 30 with that because she's in the finals. It beats Swiatek tomorrow. She's 16-1.
There you have it. So that's our look at the outright and the quarters market at Wimbledon. Hope you've enjoyed it. We'll be back tomorrow looking at the best bets in round 1. Nigel, you'll be catching up with Sean for the men's singles.
Yeah, we are heading across with Sean, looking at the men's singles, going through the bracket there. A very, very lopsided draw in favour of Carlos Alcaraz, but I'm sure Sean will not be looking for the favourite. We're looking for some value to fade him, and we'll be chatting to him a little bit later on. And tomorrow, looking on with you, looking at the round 1 matches and round 1 matches on the men's and the women's draw with Sean. At the same time, opening my birthday cards and blowing out the candles on my cake, which are actually now 52 candles on that cake, so I'm not very happy about that.
Oh, well, it's not looking a day over 40, mate. But, yes, we'll be back tomorrow with all the best bets from round 1 in the men's and women's tournament. And before we leave, just to remind you, like and subscribe to us on YouTube and your podcast provider. Sign up to the Betting Weekly newsletter. We've got the Betting Weekly Insider newsletter, which is a Wimbledon special. That's out today. The normal Betting Weekly newsletter's out every Monday, and the boys are absolutely tearing it up on the Club World Cup. They're absolutely smashing it out of the park. So follow along and make sure you can cash some tickets there. Thanks for joining us. We're back tomorrow with the best of round 1. And have a good rest of your day and enjoy Wimbledon because it's going to be a belter.